right, I am here with Jake Dockendorf from Qlik. Hello, Jake.
Hi, Kate. How are you doing today?
Good. We're in San Francisco at ODSC West, and I actually met him during the lunch break, and we're going to talk about data literacy. So, what do you do at Qlik?
So I'm a senior customer success manager, but I've been with the company for about 8 years and have been in roles in pre-sales, most of it being in consulting, but even prior to working at Qlik, I was a customer.
All right, and you have a session tomorrow that you're speaking at, right?
Yep.
Okay, what's the topic there?
So the topic, now be ready, this is a little bit of a mouthful, but it's data literacy and the democratization of data in the fourth industrial revolution.
12 words.
Yeah.
All right, so data literacy, fourth industrial revolution. What does data literacy have to do with the fourth industrial revolution?
Well, the topic is really around, the fourth industrial revolution. We're walking data points. Data is being stored more and more by more and more processes, by more and more companies, and really growing at an exponential rate. So what do we do with all this information? And it kind of leads into the democratization of data, where there's so much information out there, we can't hoard it, we can't keep it behind closed doors, AI can't go through everything, and it really focuses on getting data in the hands of end users, decision makers, on a platform that's governed to be able to allow people to find the value within your data. And then really leading into the data literacy part, where if you're exposing all this information and data to end users, you want to have them educated on how to read, write, analyze and argue with data so that they're delivering value to your organization by having access to all the information.
Right, so who needs to be data literate in an organization?
I would argue everybody. But I think where their big gap is really within the decision makers and people that are outside the technology, that have been more used to just getting static reporting and being told what to do with the information versus having a platform that allows them to explore and drive into more unknown areas of information.
Yeah, I think Qlik did a survey, right, recently about who's data literate in an organization. I think it was somewhat 67% or so of senior executives were not 100% data literate.
Yeah, so I think the stats were done with the study where 24% of decision makers actually feel confident in making data-driven decisions. And I'll use the inverse of what you did with the 67, but 32% of executives feel like they're well-versed in making data-literate decisions. So, it rises all the way to the top to people really not understanding and how to utilize information.
So why is it important for, let's say, executives to understand data if they have people working for them that can do it?
Because they're the ultimate decision makers. A lot of people look at data scientists as being the data wranglers and coming up with this stuff, but a lot of times they know the process of the data and aren't really tied close to the business outcomes. And it's really the business outcomes that really need to drive the science and the math behind it. So it's up to them in driving the organization in the direction they want to and be able to read the outputs of what these data scientists are giving them to steer the company in the direction that they want to go.
So what process or I guess steps would a company have to take to get to be called a data literate company?
Well, it's different for all of them. I mean, you see people that are still using Excel spreadsheets. You see people that have
What's wrong with Excel spreadsheets?
Well, I don't know if we want to go there. How long do you want this presentation to be? Well, I mean, the big thing of it is it's tough to get a single version of the truth, which you don't necessarily want that locked down 100%, but people can manipulate cells. They can come up with their own analytics. So, one guy in the finance department might be calling revenue this, where a guy in operations is calling it something completely different.
Right. So
you need to have a platform or a managed system that kind of doesn't let people just to do things off a cuff on a one.
Like a golden source system, like source of all the truth, or?
Yeah, well, it's up to an organization to have the processes built in, so you can organizationally say, hey, this is what we want to call revenue. And then democratizing it, giving it to everybody so that they can come up with their own analysis, but still having that baseline truth, organizational truth, so that at least when you're getting to the change of the organization, you've got a baseline of something consistent across the organization.
Right. And so does Qlik have any services or offerings that people can go and learn more about in terms of making an organization more data literate?
Yeah, so my colleague Jordan Morrow has really spent the last
Jordan
year.
Morrow, I know him.
You do?
I do. We're writing a book together.
Oh my
Data
gosh.
literacy for kids.
What
Yes.
a coincidence.
I know. It's crazy.
Maybe if I'm out willing to offer some quotes if you need any.
Of course.
But I would probably just be quoting Jordan, so
Oh.
I think you've got him. I think you've got the source. But yeah, he's really put together and really made data literacy more prevalent, not just at Qlik, but
Yeah.
in the larger world. He's got a site out there and a nonprofit where dataliteracyproject.org, where we're teaming with companies like Deloitte, Accenture, in promoting data literacy, because while Qlik is the right platform to be able to deliver on it,
Yeah.
there's a much wider human scale element that I think adds value to not just us as an organization or society, but humanity, and helping us make the right decisions and using more informed decisions versus gut feel.
Right. Great. Well, Jake, thank you so much for being on the show. I look forward to your session tomorrow. Yeah, and that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.